Hello and welcome back to a new randomised gaming video. Yes, we are back and we've got a whole host of new videos coming your way. Apologies again for the delay. This was due to an unexpected problem with our PC capture unit, which has taken an eon to repair. I had to send it back to the retailer we purchased from it, and it's proven to be quite a specialist problem to fix. Mentioning no names, of course, but like I said, it was quite a specialist PC issue we seem to have. And I can't say I was overly impressed with the speed at which they've returned around our capture unit, but thankfully it's, touch wood, all fixed now, and we are good to go for the next few years, hopefully, pending the apocalypse or anything dreadful happening. So, to commiserate the facts, we've been away for 2 months. I mean, we could have done a few interim videos, but we'd have decided against that because it would have been very low quality 480p videos, and we didn't really want to produce that once we stepped up to start doing 720p and 1080p videos. So apologies if you have been waiting so long for a new video. It's just been an unfortunate nuisance that we've had this issue with this PC, but we're now back and capturing is better than ever. So to commemorate this, we've just done a Rayman video, and the reason I've partly done a Rayman video is, one, I posted a few things on the blog in the past few months about it, and the other reason is because I've actually been playing Rayman over the past 2 weeks while this PC was away, and I've actually finished the Sega Saturn version. We've also actually been playing the PC version as well, because Rayman's one of these interesting games. Although it's not spoken about that much, there is an awful lot of changes between all the different versions. So I'm just going to do a high quality video on the Saturn one, picking a few of my favourite levels. But it's been an interesting experience. And actually, just looking at Rayman, there have, as I said earlier, there have been a number of changes between versions. The Saturn's version is by far of the best original three out of the Saturn, the PlayStation and the Jaguar. It's got slightly better quality sound. The Saturn, of course, was always a more powerful console in all aspects, and so it's able to have more backgrounds than the PlayStation version. So you'll notice that in a few stages they've actually got multiple backgrounds, and it really shows up in a few stages in the PlayStation version where all the stages had the same background. There's a few graphical tweaks here and there, and there were some added 3D transition effects and a few changes. Most of those changes then went on to be in the PC version, but the PC version then had a few changes as well. Interestingly, the PC version actually ran at a lower resolution to accommodate weaker PCs at the time, so the Saturn's version actually runs at higher resolutions by default, which is quite interesting because in theory the Saturn's version is better, but the PC version also has a number of changes that improves upon it. And it's one of those games I would actually like to ask Michael Ansel or Michel Ansel, I'm not entirely how you pronounce his name in French, but basically because the team at Rayman, obviously the Ubisoft team, kept changing the game. There's so many iterations. Even if you play the Gameboy Advance version and the Nintendo DS version, there's a number of changes made to both versions, and it's in fact across the whole board. And it's interesting to see there's cage changes. There's even a few stage changes where clearly they felt the game was too hard, etc. And some stages they clearly didn't like, and they either cut them or completely redesigned them. Some are quite impressive, such as the transition between the forest location and the music location that was added in from the PC version onward. It's really interesting to actually look at all these changes and actually just play through. So what I've done is picked a few of the better stages on Rayman just to show you the power of the Saturn version. Looking at some of the rival YouTube videos, there's not a great selection. A few of them were wrong aspect ratio, and there aren't many high definition ones. There's a lot covering the PlayStation version, but not the Saturn's version. And I picked a few of the stages where the changes are noticeable from the Saturn to PlayStation version. Certainly you'll notice the cave from the Eat at Joe's stage in the PlayStation version has a coloured background, whereas the Saturn version, the opening stage probably has a black background, so the cave really feels dark. It doesn't in the PlayStation version, and it seems more like a bug. Interestingly, another one I picked is the snowing stage in the Music Land, which is actually really nice to look at, but I actually had a little bug with that when I originally played it, in that the snow effect wasn't playing when I went through the level previously, but when I went through it this time it was snowing, so there's a few little changes here and there. I mean, there aren't any cage changes between the Saturn and PlayStation version, but certainly between the PC and Saturn version there's an awful lot of changes where the cave locations are. So, as I said, this is going to be a quick playthrough of some of my favourite stages and just some of the game itself. I should actually point out we're now actually capturing via a RGB upscaler, which makes all our games look really fantastic. And the reason we've actually chosen to do an RGB upscaler is because, of course, the Sega Saturn at its very best outputs at RGB. Now, we wanted to try and get an S-Video lead. We haven't been able to source one, so we decided to go for an RGB upscaler instead. RGB gives an almost component quality picture. In fact, it's the same process, red, blue, green. It divides it into 3 separate colours. But of course, it was mainly released in Europe on RGB SCART, and Japan also had their own variant on RGB, but it never really got released in the US. But basically, one of the reasons our Saturn videos, we started producing them, is because up until we got this upscaler, and I'm going to do a separate video on the upscaler at a later date. Basically, it gives you a nice crisp HD picture at 720p and 1080p. The one drawback, it does add in a slight filter, so there's a slight smoothing filter on all our videos that are going to be on the Saturn, but it's a bit noticeable, but it's nothing that detracts too much. And if there's ever a major issue where it does detract heavily, well, we just won't record using it, and that have to be composite. Before I go, however, one thing I would like to say is Rayman, even today, the original Rayman is still a phenomenal game. I mean, the whole series as a whole is a brilliant franchise, well worth playing. But the original 1995 Rayman is an all-time classic. It has remained the test of time. Even when I'm playing it in 2015, it still looks wonderful. It still plays wonderfully. And it's a credit to Michael Ancrum and his team at Ubisoft who made the original Rayman. They did a phenomenal job with the animation, the graphics, the art, and the music. It has a brilliant soundtrack as well. It is a wonderful game, and if you haven't played it, I highly recommend you do so. It is an all-time classic, and I don't think it quite gets the respect it deserves when you compare it to Mario and Sonic, because it's arguably better than a lot of their 3D outings, and I think in many ways it shows what Mario and Sonic could have done in 2D but never did during the 32-bit era. I do highly recommend it, and it's not perfect. There are a few gripes. The difficulty, at least in the early 32-bit versions, is very trial and error at points, and although you'll see me doing pretty much perfect runs in this video, trust me, some of those sections took hours to do originally. They're really, really painful, and I'm a veteran platform guy who's finished all the Marios, and it is very tricky, but aside from one or two guys, it is a phenomenal game, well worth tracking down, well worth playing. Even today, it is a timeless classic, and I hope at some point to see a new Rayman game. But in the meantime, I think I've said enough. We are back, so yes, welcome back again, and I hope you enjoy this video. I'm Random Gamer Riven, signing out for now.
Hi, folks. You want to know what's going on? Let me tell you the story of Rayman. In Rayman's world, nature and people live together in peace. The Great Protoon provides and maintains the harmony and balance in the world. Sorry, folks, this apparently can't last. One fateful day, the evil Mr. Dark steals the Great Protoon and defeats Batilla the Fairy as she tries to protect it. The Electoons who used to gravitate all around it lose their natural stability and scatter all over the world. Troublesome, isn't it? And untidy, too. In this now unbalanced world, strange phenomena begin to occur. Freaks and hostile characters appear, capturing every Electoon they can find. They definitely need a hero to save them now! Don't you think? Rayman to the rescue! No problem. Go and free the Electoons, Rayman, and bring back the Great Protoon from its mysterious kidnapper. But will the bad guys let him do it? you